Okay, so this is the second or third day actually of 5.3. So this is 5.3 day 3. Again, this is the third day of I think five lessons or 6 lessons in 5.3. This is a very important unit or lesson actually. And so if you think about our last lesson, talked about the variable m and slope-intercept. Remember, slope-intercept formula was y equals mx plus b, where m was slope. That's what we worked on yesterday. We learned that m represents the slope or the rise over run. Today we're going to talk about the purpose of b in terms of graphing those lines. And by the end of the day, we should be able to graph lines without having to do a lot of work. Recall the slope-intercept formula is y equals mx plus b. This means that whenever you're given an equation to graph, we can use the following shortcuts, and that's only if y is alone. Again, kind of mark that in your notes for yourself. But y has to be alone in the equation. So let's look at the following equations and just make sure we know how to identify slope-intercept form. In this case, looking at y, it's next to a 3. It's over here with x. This is not slope-intercept form. Looking at this one, you have a y equals all by itself. This is slope-intercept form. Here, notice y is here, but it's got a 3 next to it. That is also not slope-intercept form. And even though this is written backwards, notice that y is over here by itself, which means that this would be slope-intercept form. And so you could use this, although you don't have to worry about this yet. These are the two problems that you would be able to use slope-intercept shortcuts with. So in this problem, or in the slope-intercept formula, y equals mx plus b, b represents what we call the y-intercept. The y-intercept is the location on the y-axis where the graph crosses. So look at each equation, and first off, let's identify b. So if you're talking y equals 3x plus 4, and we're looking for b, and we know that y equals mx plus b, notice again everything lined up the way it is. In this case, b is 4. Because 4 is positive and 4 is in the location for b, b is 4. In this one, y equals 2x minus 6. Again, y equals, that's m, that's x, and b in this case would be negative 6 because that 6 is negative. That would be the b that we use. In the last one, you see that y has a value equals mx, but there's nothing else there. That's because there is a plus 0 there. Because if there's nothing there, it means that b obviously is invisible, not there. So in that case, b would be 0. And that's what you want to think about if you ever see that on a question. So now that we know how to find the value of b, let's see what it looks like real fast on a coordinate plane. So if b is equal to 2, remember again, this is your x-axis and your y-axis. If b is equal to 2, then it means that the y-axis is at 2. So you go up 2 and you simply put a dot. That is b equals 2. Notice again, y-intercept, here's your y-axis. That's 1, that's 2, and that's where the dot goes. That's all you have to do to find b, or to plot b. If b is negative 3, again, this is your x-axis and your y-axis. It means go down because it's negative 1, 2, 3, and put a dot there because that would be negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. That is what b equals negative 3 looks like. If b was 0, you stay right at the 0 spot, which is at your origin. There it is. Again, notice all these are on your y-axis because that's what it is. Y-intercept means where is it across the y-axis. On the fourth one, where it has b equal to 3.5, again, that's going to be positive, so it's up. So you go 1, 2, 3 up, and about halfway through, that would be representative of b equal to 3.5 because that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's somewhere between 3 and 4. All right. In terms of if I give you a formula, like I do here, then you now have to identify b. So it's the easiest way to do is to write y equals mx plus b, represent or know here that b is equal to 1, and you get it from that information. Once I know that b is equal to 1, I know that 1 is 1 up. And that's it. Looking at the next one, again, if you need to see it, just write the formula y equals mx plus b. If I am looking for b, that is in the location of b, so b in this case is negative 2. Remember that because it's negative, we go down 1, 2, and put a dot. That is b equals negative 2. Same thing on the third one, y equals mx plus b. The number that's in the place of b is negative 1.5. And so that means that I go down, because it's negative, 1.5, which puts me about right there. Last one on that part, y equals 2x. Notice I'm doing y equals mx plus b, and notice there's nothing there. That means that b is equal to, if there's nothing there, that means that B is 0, which means that the dot would be right there. Alright, so putting that together with what we learned yesterday, we now have the ability to plot everything we need. And again, remember that for slope we always go to the right, so we don't need to fill everything in, but using M and B to plot all the possible points, I want you to see how well you can do that. But in this case, again, if y equals mx plus b, what I want to do is write m equals, and m, remember, is attached to x, that's 3/4, and b is 1. But again, we start with b because that's our y-intercept. B is 1, so we go up to 1 and we put a dot. And then, kind of like yesterday, from that dot we use the rise over run. Remember, rise over run means rise of 3, run of 4. That means from this dot go up 3 and 1, 2, 3 over right 4. That's it. I can't fill out anything else going to the right. We're not going to run left. I don't want you running left, so that's far enough. And let's just go ahead and connect those 2 points and draw our line. That's it. That is your line, and that is how you actually graph that kind of information. Here again, y equals mx plus b. In this case, m is attached to x. It's -3/2. b is 2. Again, since b is 2, that means go up 2 and put a dot. -3/2 means, remember, down first, so down 1, 2, 3, right 2. Down 1, 2, 3, right 2. Down 1, 2, no more. So again, I've got as much as I can go going that way. I attach those with a line, and that would be the graph that I have for -3/2 x plus 2. Not tough, just something you got to be ready to practice today and transfer your information of knowledge over to. Here, m and b, that's what I'm looking for, because notice y is by itself. Remember, m is attached to x, so the slope is 3. The y-intercept is -4. The slope of 3 means go up 1, 2, 3. I'm sorry, slope of 4, -4 means go down 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm sorry about that. So go down 4 because that's b. The slope of 3, remember, we need a fraction, and the way we turn that into a fraction is by putting it over 1, which means from our y-intercept of -4 we go up 3, 1, 2, 3, and right 1. Up 3, 1, 2, 3, right 1. Up 3, 1, 2, 3, right 1. That is our line. Connect all those dots with a straight edge, and that is what the graph would look like. And on the last piece for us here, m equals b equals m, of course, attached to x is -2. b is -1. b being -1 means go down 1 and put your dot there. That's your y-intercept. Remember that we need a fraction here, so it's -2 over 1. And so in order to do that, we go down 2, right 1, down 2, right 1, down 2, which we don't have room. That means that's as far as we can go. And again, go ahead and take those 3 dots and draw your line going all the way across the region. So once again, make sure you go over to MathXL and get as much as you can out of this. Again, remember that the first number you want to plot whenever you do your lines later is the b first, and then do your rise over run, because if you remember the work from yesterday, you had to have a dot in order to do your slope. So this represents the first dot, that represents what you do after. This represents your first dot, that represents what you do after. Again, make sure you're asking questions and trying to keep up. You do not want this information to get ahead of you, otherwise it's going to start to leave you behind very quickly. So again, go to MathXL, try to get your 100%, ask as many questions of me or people around you as you need to understand it, and other than that, good luck today.